Among the three rounds, Sayadaw explained that if one cannot remove the kilesa vata, the round of defilements, then kamma vata, the round of action, the round of deeds, will continue. And as the person does good and bad deeds, these good and bad deeds give results. And vipaka vata, the round of resultants, also rotate. If the person is not being mindful, not noting the object, not noting the nama rupa, which are dukkha satya, the truth of suffering, not being mindful, one will not discern correctly. Not discerning, there will be knowing wrongly. If one does not discern, there will be attachment, craving, and there is also clinging. Clinging with lobha, greed, ditthi, wrong view. And there will be wrong view that there is the atta, soul. Having good intention, good volition, the person commits the wholesome deeds, the person does wholesome deeds that lead to further assistances. When the person has bad volition, the unwholesomeness that has lobha, greed, or the unwholesomeness that has dosa, anger, arises. And it is kamma vata, the round of good and bad deeds. Having done good and bad deeds, there will be more resultants. There will be vipaka vata, the round of resultants. Kamma is called cetana. Cetana is the volition. Whenever one performs good action or better action, there is volition involved. So whether in good deeds or bad deeds, there is cetana, volition involved. Without volition, one will not be doing good or bad deeds. So it is the cetana, volition, that is inciting the person to do good and bad deeds. So one will have new assistance as a result of one's good and bad deeds. Doing good and bad deeds, these good and bad deeds arise and pass away, but there is the potency to give good and bad results. Having learned the Abhidhamma, one understands the cause and effect. And by practicing Satipatthana meditation, one comes to acceptance that things are arising as cause and effect. And there are two kinds of karma. The first one is sahajata karma, and the second is nanakanika karma. The good and bad deeds, which are generated by cetana, volition, arise and pass away. But there is the potency that gives the result. So the potency of Cetana, volition, does not go away, but this potency of Cetana, volition, will be left, and it will give resultant. So the Cetana, volition, that is associated with good and bad action, good and bad deeds, is called Sahajata Cetana. Even though good and bad deeds has already passed, there is left the potency that can give result. So this potency of the Cetana, volition, that gives the result is called Nanakanika Cetana. Among the wholesome deeds, the other kind of wholesome deeds apart from Vipassana Bhavana are just ordinary wholesome deeds. These ordinary wholesome deeds, such as giving, offering dana, refraining oneself from wrongdoings by body and speech, offering one's services when there are natural disasters such as flood or hurricane, and giving aid, food, medicine aid to the needy, giving medical treatment, offering one's services in good kind of work, and the absorption, the mundane absorption, these ordinary wholesome deeds involve Cetana, volition. So such deeds are ordinary wholesome deeds. In the Vipassana practice, there is knowledge involved. So the knowledge is prominent, and Cetana, volition, is not as prominent in the Vipassana practice. And thus, the Cetana, volition of the Vipassana practice does not lead to further assistances. Knowledge manifest, knowledge is prevailing in the Vipassana practice. So the knowledge that prevails in the Vipassana practice cut the new assistances, and thus Vipassana practice, the Cetana, volition involved in the Vipassana practice does not lead to further assistances. When doing unwholesome deeds, the Cetana, volition that is involved in killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, such kind of volition gives bad result. The example is given: a tree that has fruits, but if the fruit does not have the seed that has good potency, then such seed cannot give rise to new tree. When the seed is mature, it has the potency to give rise to a new generation of trees. When performing ordinary form of wholesome deeds, when the Cetana, volition is strong, then it gives rise to good resultants. In the example, when the fruit becomes mature, and when the fruit is free from pests, then it has the seed that has the potency. So even though the fruit falls on the ground, but having the seed that has the potency to give rise to new tree, then there will be a new generation of tree. When doing wholesome deeds or unwholesome deeds, these wholesome and unwholesome action, these are sankhara. They arise and pass away, but there is still the potency that is left in order to give result. Having knowledge that good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, it is called Kammaskata Samadhi. And earlier on, Sayadaw had said that Sayadaw will explain about Kammaskata Samadhi later on. As explained in the text, the Nanakanika Cetana give result. And the Cetana that is associated in the wholesome and unwholesome deeds are Sahasata Cetana. Even though the good and bad deeds pass, but there is the potency that is left to give result. So when the fruit falls on the ground, and when the fruit perishes, but from the seed there is the potency that gives rise to a new tree. And then another example is the parents give their children the vitamins, the supplement, in order that their children will have healthy bones, strong bones. So the parents give them the calcium in order to keep the bones healthy and strong. First, the potency of these vitamins will not give result immediately. It takes some time, and when the child takes these vitamins regularly, the potency of these vitamins will be left in the child, so that when compared to other children who do not receive such kind of nutrition, compared to them, the child happens to be strong, healthy, have strong bones, due to the potency of the vitamins. So when the person performs good and bad deeds, there is cetana, volition involved. And this cetana has the potency to give result. Santana is the continuous arising of the nama-rupa in the being or person. And kamma is the cetana, volition. And in whatever good and bad deeds that has been done, there is cetana, volition involved. Even though the volition passed, but there is left the potency. Niravasesa, meaning that even though the volition passed, but the potency remains. And the potency that remains gives result. When the vitamins is taken, even though the nutriment that is not needed in the body will turn into waste, but there is the potency that remains in the body that gives rise to the healthy bones, good health. And another example is when the fruit falls on the ground from the seed, the potency to give rise to new tree will generate a new generation of tree. And in a family, when the father happens to be smart, doing good social work for others, even though the father passed away, but the influence is left in the children. So the influence cannot be shown, but still one cannot deny the fact that the influence of the parents are left to their children. So just like this example, even though the Cetana, volition, passes, but there remains the potency to give result. So whatever good and bad deeds that have been done, there is the Cetana, volition involved. And when this Cetana, volition is mature, the potency of the volition remains that gives rise to result. So in every nation there are schools, and the children have to learn from the kindergarten, from the primary level till the high school level and the universities. And the lessons that the person has learned in the primary level, one will not remember it. One might have forgotten it. But the lessons that were learned in the primary level supports the learning for the high school. So, because the foundation of one's knowledge that is gained through the learning in the primary level is supporting one's study in the higher level. In the same way, the good and bad deeds that have been done will later give result. So there is the potency of the Cetana, volition, that gives good and bad results. So in the life of the person or being, these good and bad volition arise and passes away. But their potency does not go away, but there remains the potency, and it will give result to good and bad result whenever having the opportunity. So this potency to give result cannot be seen, but it will give result whenever given the opportunity. So one is investing such kind of potency in one's life that will give results. Not being mindful of the object that is arising, not having Satipatthana practice, there will be ignorance, not knowing wrongly. And if there is good intention, one does wholesome deeds that lead to further assistances. And having bad intention, the person does unwholesome deeds, which involves the unwholesome volition, giving rise to bad results. And there is Kamavada, there is the round of good and bad deeds, good and bad action, that will give rise to Vipakavada, round of resultant. So long as one has not removed the Kilesavada, round of defilements, then there will be the Kamavada, round of good and bad deeds. So in ordinary people, in seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, there is avijja, ignorance, tatna, craving, upadana, clinging, and these defilements lead to good and bad deeds, and these good and bad deeds giving results, and the round of resultant follow. So in this way, the 3 rounds keep on rotating. When the 3 rounds keep on rotating, there will be suffering continuously. And the reason that the person has suffering due to the rotation of the 3 rounds, the reason is that the person does not possess the sasana, the teaching of the Buddha. The person does not have the culture. Not having the teachings of the Buddha, the person does not have good moral conduct. The person is lacking sila, morality, committing wrongdoings, transgression, doing evil conduct by body and speech, which involves bad volition. Committing wrongdoings, committing bad conduct by body and speech involves bad volition to the person who is lacking sila sikha, morality training. Lacking samadhi, concentration, the obsessive defilements arise in the mind, wanting to kill, wanting to steal, wanting to commit sexual misconduct. And there is the bad conduct, bad mental conduct, wanting to take other people's belongings by force, not having the knowledge that good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results. And these misconduct, mental misconduct arise. So there involves the bad volition in these wrongdoings by body, speech and mind. And as the person is lacking the 3 trainings, sila, samadhi and panya, the person will not have good quality. The person will not be a true human. The person will not have a humane mind. And the person will be rude, gross, as the person is lacking sila, morality. As the person is lacking sila, morality, there will not be sama vaca, sama kammana or sama ajiva. The person is lacking right speech, right action, right livelihood. What is arising in the person is micca vaca, micca kammana and micca ajiva. The person is having wrongful speech, wrongful action and wrong livelihood. As the person is lacking samadhi, concentration, there will be priyuthana kilesa, obsessive defilements that manifest in the mind. Not being able to cultivate Vipassana knowledge, one cannot weaken or suppress the defilements, and one will not be removing the defilements as there is the lack of practice. Having practiced morality, there will be Samma Vāca, Samma Kammana, and Samma Ājiva, right speech, right action, right livelihood. And practicing Satipatthana meditation, there involves Samma Vāyama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, and Samma Sankappa, Samma Diṭṭhi, which are the Paññā Magganga, the right application of the mind, and the right view, which involves Paññā, wisdom. If the person is lacking these 8 factors, then the vata, the rounds, will keep on rotating. So if the person is lacking the 3 kinds of training, Sila, Samadhi, and Paññā, the person will have the 3 rounds, the 3 kind of vata rotating, and thus there will be suffering. The practice of Sila, morality, is refraining from wrongdoings. Not having knowledge that bad deeds bring bad results, not knowing correctly, the person thinks of these wrongdoings as good, and the person is knowing wrongly just the opposite of the truth. Thinking that killing is good. Killing involves dosa, anger, and not having compassion, not having consideration, compassion, empathy towards others, the person thinks that killing is good. And other misconduct, killing, sexual misconduct, not knowing the flaws of these misconduct, the person thinks of it as good, and the person wants to commit these wrongdoings. As the person does not see the flaws of the wrongdoings, the person thinking that these wrongdoings are good, there will be kilesa vata, round of defilements, tatna and upadana, avijja, tatna and upadana, ignorance, craving, and clinging is involved. And based on these avijja, tatna, and upadana, ignorance, craving, and clinging, the person does good and bad deeds. Doing good and bad deeds, there will be the results. Not being able to remove the defilements, there will be good and bad deeds that lead to further assistances. Not developing 8 factors of the path, the 3 rounds will keep on rotating. Not cultivating Sila, Samadhi, and Paññā, morality, concentration, and wisdom. Apart from the sleeping hours, these 3 rounds will keep on rotating. And having these defilements, the karma, good and bad deeds, will be done that give results. And the 3 rounds keep on rotating. And tomorrow, Sayadaw will explain what one should do in order to remove the defilement rounds. And today, Sayadaw explained how the 3 rounds rotate and how one does the Kamavata round of good and bad deeds. And Sayadaw will continue to explain tomorrow.